Morning guys, Monday the 26th of April. Very brisk, as in cold, icy cold. But then there is blue sky, the sun is shining at this early hour. It's 7:22. Although I don't like necessarily feeling cold, I think it is the sort of cold where you do sort of begin to gradually wake up. So yeah, it's like ooh, bit of a bite in the air, but there's the guy who was delivering the outdoor training said the other day, and I've heard this before and I do agree with this: there's no bad weather, just bad or poor clothing. I remember sharing that once before, ages ago, when I came out and had the wrong coat on and got just absolutely soaked. You can hear all the birds in the background, which I find really peaceful. I went for a walk yesterday to some woodland area that I've been to once before, ages ago. And what I'd not realised previously was that it's actually, there's one side of it where it's a really old cemetery, and so ended up just going, into, you could go into the cemetery itself, and just spent some time walking around, looking at the dates on the stones, looking for the oldest stone. There was military stones, there was ones where there was whole families, 6 or 7 of them. Then there was ones where, there was babies that were months old. Then there was like children more sort of 7, 8 years old, and I found the whole thing really quite reflective, and I really enjoyed it. Found it quite peaceful, which is probably a very paradoxical thing to say in a cemetery, but some people I think might perhaps feel it's a bit like, oh, go to a cemetery, it's a bit morbid, your cemeteries for dead people, or you go there when you're mourning somebody, and that can be the case. But I've done it before. I found that if I've been really busy or hectic, and there's a couple of times where I had loads of work on. I remember going from one piece of work to another, and I remember a couple of times stopping off at cemetery that I'd seen on the way, and found it really sort of quiet and peaceful. And it was that thing of, well, because it was so peaceful and quiet, it gave you an opportunity to be with the quietness and the stillness, and to just calm yourself down, to slow yourself down, and to breathe. So I just think they're really peaceful places to go, to actually just give yourself some time to be still and reflect. As I said, but it also, for me, I do like that other piece about it, which is I get really intrigued and fascinated by the names of people as well. You notice that if they came from the 18th or 19th century, like yesterday we saw Gertrude and Maud, which was very indicative of the time. Also noticed the kinds of and the stones that they had. and the way they were built were different depending on the different century. And also it was really fascinating to, when you look back, and I thought to myself, wow, there were some massive, really ornate stones and statues, especially if it was, say, the 18th century. But then quite a few of those stones were also of people that had lived to 70, 80 year old, which of its time I think wasn't that usual. But then I imagine that the people who had bought those kind of stones at that point would have obviously been the people that had money, therefore perhaps lived that bit longer. So the whole historical piece and just imagining and thinking, was really peaceful. I really enjoyed it. And it may be that, the idea of going and getting some peace and some stillness in a cemetery may not be your cup of tea, so to speak. But I think wherever that is, it's important that everybody finds somewhere for them that they know they can go to, or they can create a space that is a place of stillness and quiet. So for me personally, that's a cemetery. So I suppose my question for you today is where you can find your place of quiet and stillness when you need to find that in the noise and the busyness of, it could be life around you, it could be inside your own head at times. So on that note, guys, have a magical, mindful, mystical Monday, and I shall speak to you later, guys. Take care, bye.